Welcome to Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, is our You Can't Tell Us It's Too Early, We're Going to Do It Anyway episode of Sideline Judgment. That's right, we are already having our own top 25, as we're calling it, the Miss You Already top 25 for the 2020 college football season, Tyler. You and I have each come up with our own individual top 25. We have not told each other yet. We will find out live on the air as we're recording. And that, my friend, is the meat and potatoes of our episode. Before we get into that, we are going to begin, as always, with quick hits. We're going to talk a little bit about National Signing Day, which we are recording this on Thursday, February 6th. It was yesterday, February 5th. We won't go too much into detail because, as we discussed in an earlier episode, this signing day has kind of been like the afterthought signing day. The real signing day is now kind of taken over in December. And then, Tyler, we'll go into our Miss You Already Top 25, and we'll end with our flagship segment, tweets that we have shared. Tyler, as always, we begin at the top with quick hits, and we got to talk about a first ballot finesse Hall of Famer by the name of Mark D'Antonio.
I mean, just his ability to pull this off, what he pulled off, is just unparalleled.
He's looking like Pat Riley making some trades on deadline day. Ooh, that's right. I went there. Basketball
That's
reference.
a Miami humidity joke for all of you South Florida stands out there.
And the Miami humidity is a Miami Heat joke for all of you Sideline Judgment faithful. That's right there.
Yes.
You already know.
Mark D'Antonio, former head coach of Michigan State,
correct.
stepped down the day before signing day, and only about a week after he got like a $4 million contract longevity bonus for being the head coach. So he collected his bag, and then he kindly said, "All right, peace."
Yeah. Elite level finessing, my friends.
Yeah.
Elite level.
Which is very interesting because it's you can make an argument that this, instead of being the last coach firing, coach change of 2019, you could argue this is the first one of 2020.
Yeah, you could. All that wild stuff was at the end of December.
Yeah, because there's only a lot of schools. There were a lot of schools that didn't even have anything to do on this National Signing Day. Mm-hmm. Like Ohio State and Clemson didn't have any more room.
Right. Yeah, they were already set.
So they're just like, we're locked up. We don't even care. So it's like it's the bonus signing day. It's just for a bunch more kids, but it's almost like the next season is kind of like beginning to start.
Right.
And you could argue that Michigan State now has a leg up on everybody else. Mm-hmm. I get a feeling they're going to just go with like a interim coach for right now because it's just such a weird time.
It's also a type of program that likes to kind of, I mean, it's ancestral in a way where they keep it in-house. They don't really like to go outside, and even the people that were rumored, like Pitt, like the Pitt head coach, those are people that were in the program before. You know what I mean? Like they like to bring people back of their own and all that stuff. So it's very interesting to see what they'll do. But like you said, I truly believe that they're going to keep it in-house. And honestly, poor Michigan State, man. They're in the same division, not conference, division as Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan.
So it's odd because they are so clearly the fourth best job in their division, and like not even in a debatable way.
No, yeah.
In the sense that Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State are better than them. But Michigan State is also hands down better than the other programs in their division.
They're in this weird.
They're better than Maryland. They're better than Rutgers.
Yeah, it's this weird college football purgatory that they're in, and
they're just forever stuck in that one spot.
And I think honestly that, and we'll wrap this up about Mark D'Antonio. I think that right there is a testament to how good of a football coach Mark D'Antonio is. The fact that he made it to Rose Bowls, the fact that he made it to the college football playoff, ladies and gentlemen.
He's made more college football playoffs. Michigan State under Mark D'Antonio has made more college football playoffs than Michigan and Penn State.
Them's the facts, Tyler.
Yeah.
Them's the facts. That's the reason that he was able to take these moments, these low moments in these other big so-called juggernaut programs, and was able to capitalize and got kids over to East Lansing, you know? So good for him. I wonder what he's going to do next. I honestly don't know how he's because he's like a northern version of Nick Saban in terms of you never know what he actually feels.
Just let that sink in. He's like a northern version of Nick Saban.
Which makes sense because Nick Saban, before he was at LSU, was at where?
Michigan State.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he says in his press conference that Mark D'Antonio is going to stay on in like the advisory kind of role at the university.
Yeah.
He's basically going to Steve Spurrier where he's like, I'll be around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really going to do anything, but I'll be around.
Like, we're not going to see Mark D'Antonio take a group of 5 job anytime soon. Let's put it that way.
No, I definitely don't see that coming. I do want to say, one, this could ultimately, it's very weird timing. This could ultimately be a good thing for Michigan State if they're able to get a new coach that's a little bit more modern,
right.
Adapt, find some ways around where they're kind of stuck in life. But we won't know that because they haven't hired a coach.
Right.
And additionally, we don't want to dismiss and dodge the issues. Like, he did announce that he was retiring like a couple hours after a lawsuit was filed against him by one of the former players.
Yeah.
There have been in recent years a lot of sexual assault case allegations against his players while he has been there. That doesn't necessarily, just because I say this when I talk to my dad at some point, is like, sometimes a college kid does bad things because they're a stupid college kid.
Right.
Not because of the system that they're in or the people that they're in charge of them, but just because that person made a bad choice. So I don't want to assign blame where everything is, because in a court of law, actually, Mark D'Antonio has been found innocent of any connection to that.
Right.
But in recent years, there have been a little bit of scandals regarding, and just Michigan State as a whole.
I was going to say, Michigan State is where the Nacier gymnastics trial comes from. So it's not like the athletic environment there has been the most, how do we say, exemplary for the country.
Yeah.
So,
but again, this could be something where they're able to, like, you have to thank everything that he's done for you, because he's the winningest coach in Michigan State history. He's the first ballot finesse Hall of Famer, obviously,
as stated,
as we know, and he did a lot for that program. But it's very interesting. But I think his time has come. I said when they were playing Wake Forest, I was just like, they should move on from him. They won't.
Well, we had this conversation. The only way that they were going to move on was if he stepped down. And look at us. Sideline judgment Stradamus over here predicting things.
Yep. You should pay attention to our top 25. It's riddled with facts.
Tyler, my takes have takes.
Oh boy.
Yes, they do.
Takes squared.
Before we get to any of that, Tyler, we do want to mention that in quick hits, our next thing up on the docket, Florida has a new tight ends coach by the name of Tim Brewster. Tim Brewster, a huge pickup for our Florida Gators.
Yes.
This man is famous in Florida Gator circles for being the recruiter who flipped one Dalvin Cook from the University of Florida to Florida State University. That is because Larry Scott has left to become the new head coach at Howard University. Congratulations to him.
Congratulations.
Love to see him take a step up in that sense. Tyler, talk to me about Tim Brewster, because I know him as the recruiter who flipped Dalvin Cook, but there's definitely more to his resume. What do we need to know about him, and why are we so excited as a Gator community?
Yes, I mean, he's had about 25 years in the coaching business, 5 in the NFL, 20 in college. He is been a tight ends coach for pretty much that entire time. He's a good one, but more than anything, he is one of the best recruiters in the country.
Yep.
And it's kind of a testament that UF was able to get him in the fact that he served after being the head coach of Minnesota from about 2007 to 2010. He then served under Dan Mullen as a wide receivers coach at Mississippi State for a few years.
Right.
Then he was at Florida State from 2013 to about 2016-17, and was a dynamic recruiter over there.
Yeah.
And then he was part of not just him, but a very successful entire recruiting operation.
He's really good in the state of Florida.
Yeah. And then this last season, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. He spent a season with Jimbo Fisher at A&M,
right,
going with Jimbo Fisher to A&M. And then this last season, he spent the season with Mac Brown and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yeah, he did. More on them later, my friend.
Woo-hoo-hoo. And then Florida was able to get him away from Mac Brown after Jimbo Fisher had already tried to rehire him this past season. Wow. So it helps that Dan Mullen has experience with him, but it is I don't know if he's an upgrade as an on-the-field coach from Larry Scott, because Larry Scott did a lot.
Yes, he was very good.
Developing Kyle Pitts.
There's a reason he's at Howard as the head coach.
Absolutely. But beyond that, Tim Brewster he's a recruiter. He's a better recruiter, and that's no slight to Larry Scott. Tim Brewster is one of the best recruiters in the country at an assistant coach position.
And we know that we need to be able to recruit at a high level, especially in the SEC, to be able to compete. So. All right, good. Good for him. Good for Larry Scott. Good for Tim Brewster. Good for Gators everywhere. Tyler, the last thing on our quick hits docket is something that's just, it's one of those things where the simulation throws it at you and you go, really? Really? And then you just kind of have to talk yourself into it. That's KJ Costello transferring over to Mississippi State, eligible immediately to play under Mike Leach in that air raid. This is not something I saw coming at all.
No, me neither.
Not at all.
I don't look at KJ Costello and think air raid quarterback.
Nope.
But that's just because KJ Costello is the type of quarterback. He's like big, tall. He's got a very long release. Mm-hmm. He throws the ball really slow. He's not like just firing bullets, but he's a good quarterback.
He is. I just don't really see him chucking the ball 60 times a game.
I know. He's more of like the play action deep shot guy.
Yeah.
He is. I saw a stat today that he in his last 2 seasons has been more accurate on throws 20 yards downfield or more than all of Mississippi State's quarterbacks under Joe Moore. So, I mean, this is good because otherwise, what was Mike Leach going to do?
No, it's true. It's definitely
Garrett Schrader is not a fit for his system.
No,
and they would have other than that, they'd have to go to a freshman, which I know is not really the ideal because the way Mike Leach's offense runs, as explained by Jacksonville Jaguar great Gardner Minshew,
yes,
is that
wait, we've already put him in the Jacksonville Jaguar great category.
Yes,
you realize that like Maurice Jones-Drew and like players like that are in that category, right?
I said what I said.
Okay. Hey, talk that talk.
You don't have a Super Bowl or an undefeated season to hang on to.
Talk
or
that
one of the
talk.
greatest, or what is commonly considered the greatest quarterback to ever throw a football.
Yes, correct.
He looks spiral ever.
He looks so good on that field in the NFL 100. God, I was proud. Continue.
So I gotta clutch these things while I still can. Anyway, Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Gardner Minshew explained in an interview recently the way Mike Leach kind of runs his offense is that he puts a lot of faith in the quarterback, and a lot of control in the quarterback, because the air raid playbook at its basis form is it's actually a relatively small playbook. There's only so many passing plays.
Yeah.
They're kind of they're very well designed, and it's all based on like if you have 5 receivers out there, somebody's going to be open if you're attacking every space of the field. But the whole thing is that the quarterbacks are allowed to make checks and pick any play in the playbook at the line at any moment. Mm-hmm. Like they make their formations out so that at any moment Gardner Minshew can intellectually call and switch to any single play in the playbook.
Which is why it's not ideal for a freshman to be.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's why Mike Leach has typically done multi-year starters or people that have been multiple years in the system because he does put a lot of faith in the quarterback to make those calls, and that requires experience.
And that makes sense. KJ Costello, right?
He's an experienced quarterback. So.
Good. All right. Well, that has been quick hits.
It's very intriguing.
It is. I'm curious. I'm very curious. Yeah. All right. That has been quick hits. Let's move on quickly, Tyler. We don't have much to say about this. It's simply because yesterday was National Signing Day. The final recruiting rankings, Tyler. I'm just going to run through the top 10, and then we can pick individual ones and see where the changes were compared to December. All right. Number 1, Georgia jumps from 3 to number 1. Which,
woo, hooray for them.
Congrats, Georgia. You won recruiting. This is the second year in a row they finished number 1 with recruiting class. And you know what? You can put that in the trophy case because that's going to look incredible next to nothing else. Next up...
Continue.
Next up is the Alabama Crimson Tide, which, as expected, they dropped from 1 to 2, but at that point, whatever. After that, you got Clemson, which, okay, whatever. LSU at 4, Ohio State at 5, Texas A&M.
Ohio State at 5. What are they doing?
Oh my gosh, problems in Columbus.
Fire Ryan Day.
Bring
him on as the offensive coordinator at Florida.
Oh my God.
Better yet, let the Jacksonville Jaguars hire him. I'll pay for his airfare to London.
Oof.
I won't. I don't have any money.
Ouch. The London Jags? Yikes.
Shut up.
A&M at 6. For the sake of our friendship, we're going to move on. Auburn at 7. Florida drops from 8 to 7 to 8. Texas at 9. Tennessee at 10. Oklahoma 11, and then so on and so forth. I think the biggest jump here Miami went from 18th to 13th, which
Good
for them,
Good
I
for them.
guess. After that, everything pretty much stayed within the same realm. Nothing was a big jump
No
necessarily.
real huge surprises this late
No.
signing day.
And a lot of the things where I mean, I have Twitter notifications turned on for the Florida Gators football account, and I got a tweet and it was like, "Welcome to the team." I was like, "Oh, who did we pick up that we didn't sign in December?" And it was just Xavier Henderson signing his letter, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay." So it's a few players that just hadn't signed their
Committed
letters.
but hadn't signed.
Exactly. So like it wasn't that big of a deal. Confirmed, Justin Shorter did sign with the Gators. Confirmed.
Like,
We're hoping he can get eligible. But yeah, so not much to talk about. Anything specific you want to talk about before we move on to what we really want to talk about today?
Well, it's interesting with based off my understanding of recruiting, and we won't see this for a couple of years because these things take time to like go into effect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because Alabama used to be in this neighborhood of like they were the only like top of the mountain group recruiting at that level, and now Ohio State and Clemson and Georgia and in a way LSU have all jumped up to that level. Like they're recruiting at an Alabama level. It's not like Alabama's not recruiting as well.
Right.
These other schools are starting to figure out how to recruit at this super level, and it's interesting because you look at the top 10. And one for Tennessee. Tennessee has the 10th ranked class in the country.
Yeah.
That's still 7th in the SEC.
Which is baffling.
Yeah. Which, I mean, they should not be upset about being the 10th ranked class in the country. But that's the thing. Florida is 8th in the country, and they're 6th in the SEC. Can you imagine? Like,
and
that's crazy.
You know what the craziest thing is?
What?
Auburn is 7th in the country. They're not only 5th in the SEC, they're 4th in the SEC West.
Yeah.
That's the even crazier part, where the fact that Auburn has a top 10 recruiting class, and they're smack in the middle recruiting in their division.
Yeah. That's the thing is that say what you want about the SEC, but the players all are down in that footprint and they go there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense why all those teams are so freaking good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Florida's in a neighborhood right now that it's like they're in the trampoline area where they're recruiting well enough that they can jump up to make that really elite kind of run every couple of years.
Right.
But they're not in the Clemson, Alabama, Georgia level.
Right.
Of just, or an Ohio State level of just like dominant recruiting.
I think the fact
that recruiting is only part of college football.
Right, exactly. And I think the fact that LSU is ranked 4th is a testament to, if you have a good year, it'll affect the recruiting rankings. Like LSU should be where we are, right? 7, 8, 9, around there. But because they went undefeated and they had the statistically best offensive season in the history of college football, they're in the top 5 and they're 4, and they leapfrogged Ohio State essentially, who is one of those considered upper echelon powerhouses. What this really tells me is it makes having a good head coach all the more important. And I'm not saying a coach that can recruit. I'm talking about an on-the-field X's and O's coach. Like, that's why I am so happy with Mullen. I am perfectly fine with having a 7th, 6th, 8th recruiting class in the country with Mullen as my coach, because I know that he can develop those players. I know that he can maximize the most out of those players' talents, and that while we may not have the largest classes or we may not get all the 5 stars, he can bring out the most in the 4, in the 3 stars. He can turn them into, oh my God, why wasn't this player recruited higher out of college, out of high school? You know what I mean? So
you still need great players to win, but that's the only part of it.
Exactly. It's only part of it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it on college game day. Good Lord, what's wrong with me? On National Signing Day, Tyler, are you ready to go through our top 25?
You know I am.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna figure it out. Tyler, heads or tails?
Tails. Tails never fails.
Hey Siri, flip a coin, please.
It's heads.
It's heads. I'm gonna go ahead and go
failed.
first. All right, here we go.
I can't.
I
We
think
started from the top.
We're gonna start from the top, and I think we're gonna go ahead and skip 1 and 2. We haven't talked about this. We know 1 and 2. It's Clemson, Ohio State, right?
Yes, which actually I want to say something.
Give it to me.
It's the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to be different and put Ohio State at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But then Travis Etienne decided to return, and I was like,
no. Here's my notes for Clemson. Number 1, duh. Here's my notes for Ohio State. Number 2, Ohio State, duh, times 2.
Yes.
So I didn't take notes. Don't overthink it. All right,
Yeah.
They're the best. I'm gonna start with 3. Okay.
Okay.
At number 3, I have the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama.
I have the Alabama Crimson Tide because they are returning studs on offense. All right? They got Devontae Smith still. They got Najee Harris still. They got Waddle still. And they are bringing back Dylan Moses from his ACL injury. He did not play last season. So this man is coming back from an ACL injury. Now, granted, he is coming back from injury, and that's one of those things where we have to look out. Is he going to be back to full speed? Is he going to be back to full health? But the way technology has been moving, the way science and sports recovery has been going on, players come back from ACL injuries now, what it looks like is stronger than before. And I think that he is going to be a force and the vocal leader of that linebacking core and the pillar of that defense that Nick Saban's
defense was missing some experience and leadership this last season.
He's coming back.
That's going to be a big deal.
Exactly. That's why I have Alabama at 3. Now, the question here is also Mac Jones is playing good at quarterback, right? But
this is a big storyline.
But they just signed 5-star quarterback Bryce Young. He's going to be an incoming freshman, and people are saying he's got the talent.
They also have Talia Tagovailoa.
Exactly, and I'm a big fan of the Tagovailoa family. Big fans of them. They want to come by the house. You want to cook them some traditional Latin food. That ain't no problem. You know what I mean? Like, what do you need, Tagovailoas? What do you need? I got you. You want to escort from the airport to your hotel in Miami? I got you, guys. Don't you worry. Anything for the Tagovailoa family. Family of God. All right. So
you done?
I am done. I'm done for now. I'm not done until the draft.
Oh,
I'm done for now.
You're going to be insufferable until the draft in April.
And I'm going to be even more insufferable the year that Tagovailoa is sitting out and getting healthy. Just wait. So they have
every conversation with Sergio about the National Football League will be like, asterisk, y'all ain't ready for Tua next year.
Big facts. So my point is they got a lot of competition in the quarterback room, but this is a good thing because not only does competition bring out the best in players, but they have the talent.
Yeah.
They have the talent.
Do you want me to go with my 3 or
go with your 3?
Go your poll one.
Go with your 3.
My first 2 teams are obviously Clemson and Ohio State, all for the same reasons. Duh. And my 3rd team is actually the Oklahoma Sooners.
Wow, we're already on different pages. Okay, talk to me.
One, the defense took a dramatic step forward this year under Alex Grinch. Mm-hmm. I don't expect that to go backwards under a really good defensive coordinator. Okay. And now Spencer Rattler is going to be taking over at quarterback after redshirting this past season. Mm-hmm. Very highly touted. I've heard really good things about him. I think he's a more dynamic passer than Jalen Hurts with similar mobility.
Yep.
I think that this was kind of this year with Jalen Hurts was kind of the transition year to get to the Spencer Rattler season, because coming in as a true freshman is not ideal thing for you to take over an Oklahoma team.
Right.
But I think he's had a year in the system. I think under Lincoln Riley they're going to put up points. Obviously, I think he's a more dynamic passer than Jalen Hurts. We'll see. But I'm thinking really highly of Oklahoma. I didn't expect them to be this high.
Neither did I, dude.
But I'm thinking that Oklahoma, they've been recruiting better under Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. They're finally in a more balanced place where it did not show against LSU, but their defense can contend with teams. Mm-hmm. So you match that with some of their offenses of the Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray days,
right?
Then we're cooking somewhere.
Right,
I'd say we're cooking with gas.
Oh,
so we're gonna see where that goes.
So for me with Oklahoma,
Sergio, can I get a boomer?
Sooner. I never thought you'd ask, Tyler. See, for me, under quarterback, I put a question mark because here's the thing. You could go with Steven Ratliff, but they are very much like they could go after somebody else in the transfer market in that kind of sense. There's not really anyone left. I wrote this specific note last week, so I was trying to see if maybe someone else would come up, but not really. You've convinced me with Ratliff.
KJ Costello.
No, it was not. No, you convinced me with Ratliff. And I do like the Alex Grinch second year situation, but it's another thing where until they show me that their defense can improve significantly, Now, the argument will be, but Sergio, 2 years ago, their defense was literally one of the worst in the country, and last year they were middle of the pack. Correct. But when you're competing in the top of the country, when you're competing in the top 5, when you're competing in the top 10, when you're a playoff contender, that's not going to work, as seen by the LSU game. It's not going to work. You need it to be in the top 30s at least to be able to compete at that level. And I'm not saying Oklahoma's going to be a bad team next year. To me, they're the odds-on favorite for the Big 12. They're the highest-ranked Big 12 team in my rankings, but I don't see them as 3. We'll mention them when I get to them. Tyler,
okay.
Did you have anything else to say about Alabama? Because once we talk about a team, we're going to go into them.
I think that Alabama, it's interesting. Alabama's this is a bit of a transition year for them because it's a matter of they had now built their offense with their recruiting and they've built their offense around having a dynamic quarterback that can sling it over the yard with dynamic receiving talents. They're not as run heavy as they used to be.
Right.
I don't expect that to really change, but then they don't have as good quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So they will I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not going to go like 11-1. But
it's basically going to come down to the Auburn game.
Is it as I think that they'll likely, I'll go ahead and say it, like I think they're going to win the West. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they will be as good as they were 2 years ago when they went to the national championship. They'll be better than they were this last season.
Right.
But this last season was so injury riddled, I almost want to throw that out. But I think Alabama is very, they're like a top. They're a very top team.
Yeah,
for me.
and
so
I think
I have no qualms with you putting them at 3.
No, and I think last thing on Alabama is I think the historic offensive season by LSU last year really took away from, and along with the Tua injury, took away from what could have been talked about as one of the best offense in Alabama history. Like you're talking 4 first-round wide receivers on the field at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a thing where it overshadowed. So I think this year we'll get a lot of because I assume we both think that LSU is going to take a step, not crazy, but take a regression.
They'll take a step back.
And I think the Alabama offense is going to fill that void in the SEC West of having that conversation. So, all right, moving on. Number 4, Tyler. My 4th-ranked team. It's the Oregon Ducks.
Wow.
It's
okay.
The Oregon Ducks. Here we go. Hear me out.
Oregon Ducks.
Hear me out. Last season, Kevon Thibodeau started off as a bench player. Halfway through the season, became a starter, and by the end of the year at the Rose Bowl, was a bona fide stud on the defensive side. He's going to be anchoring them next year as a true sophomore, and we saw it. We saw this exact same thing with a defense filled with really good players. Here, I'm going to give you a situation. Guess this team, right? Guess this defense. Okay. Really good players, led by a star defensive player, having flashes in the first year, making the step forward in their second season, and carrying an offense that wasn't really as good as it should have been. What team am I talking about, Tyler?
I mean, every Muschamp and
specifically the 2015 Florida Gators.
2015 Florida Gators.
This reeks of the 2015 Florida Gators, except for the fact that Tyler Show, I think, is going to be close to, if not at the level of Justin Herbert's game management abilities. Now, the biggest question here, clearly, is the offensive line. They're losing 4 starters on the offensive line. But who's their head coach, Tyler?
Mario
Cristobal, a man who is an offensive line coach by trade. I truly believe that if it's not going to be a phenomenal offense, it's going to take a step back overall because you don't just lose 4 starters and you don't just lose 4 starters and magically
replace them with
yeah, exactly. But
Florida showed that this last season.
But they definitely will be ahead of the normal schedule because of Cristobal as their coach and because he's going to work in the trenches. I anticipate him starting in summer camp, taking his guys and saying, we're working, because they need to do that. So with all of that being said, the cherry on top, they're head and shoulders to me the best team. They're head and shoulders to me the best team in the Pac-12. I know you're going to talk about Washington, and you're going to hate me with Washington after this ranking. But
okay, well, we'll see how it shakes out.
To me, that's how it works.
I might have some surprises for you.
And the thing is that this team is ranked higher because they are the highest ranked team in a Power 5 conference of the Pac-12.
I did also affect some of my rankings, specifically the top of the chain with who it's a little predictive at first.
Yeah.
This happens with a lot of top 25s. You people out there, I just want you to listen in. This happens with a lot of your early top 25s. Is early on it becomes very predictive. And then as you shift into the 10s to the teens, it becomes more of a power ranking.
Exactly.
Because at that point, you literally you don't know.
It's preference. And at that point, it's preference and who you think is going to show up.
All right. Yeah. I have some, I see what you're saying with Oregon. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think they're going to be good.
Yeah.
My problem is I have no clue what Tyler Show is like as a quarterback.
Well, I've been reading, and I made that decision simply because I've been reading because I wanted to know about, like, is he going to be able to be at the level of Herbert? I read a bunch of, like, Oregon blogs and a bunch of Oregon pieces and some Oregonian newspapers and stuff. And everyone has been saying that the vibe around the program is they won't miss a beat. And when everyone around the program, from the players to the coaches to the staff to the people cooking to the people cleaning the facilities, when everyone has that same vibe, it says something, to me at least. So that's why I went there. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you're good. One thing to remember is they do have Joe Moorhead as their offensive coordinator now.
Very true.
Which I do think is an upgrade over Marcus Arroyo. So, you've talked me up a little bit in Oregon.
I'm telling you, boy.
But I'm feeling a little bit more confident about it. I'm not going to change my rankings because
no, they're set in stone. Hey, I wrote mine in pen.
I can't do that.
Yeah, no.
But interesting. All right, my number 14. Mm-hmm. You ready?
Ready.
You ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
The Florida Gators.
My, come on.
I'm going in. I'm
the
eternal optimist.
Talk to him, Tyler. Talk to him.
This is a bit predictive. Because I do think it's one of those. Florida would be the fourth team in the college football playoff in this order. Mm-hmm. I think Florida comes back. They have the best returning quarterback in the SEC, and their backup, I think, is one of the better ones as well. We don't know. He could be better. We don't know.
Ooh. Sorry, I'm going to stop.
We just don't know. Dan Mullen's an offensive genius. I think they'll figure out the offensive line situation. They have more numbers. They've returning a lot of the skill production that they were any skill production they were able to keep. They were able to hold on to.
Correct.
They had a good recruiting class. Their last class was really good. They got some more athletes coming into their own. But Elliot has talked about this. There's this thing called the blue chip ratio. Mm-hmm. A term that he has created, where it's like you have to have, I believe over 60% blue chips on your roster to win a national championship. No team in the modern era in the modern era of recruiting, has won a national championship without at least 60% 5 and 4 stars.
Right.
Under Mullen, we are back at that level. Mm-hmm. It's mostly 4 stars. We've only got a couple 5 stars on the roster. But under Mullen, you can look back at his rankings. While his rankings may not look much better than the classes that were signed before him, his blue chip ratio, he's signing more 4 stars than 3 stars. He's signing more 4 stars than 5 stars.
The quality of player is improving. The
quality of player has increased.
Right.
And I think that is going to matter. Staff continuity is huge. The only coach being replaced right now is Larry Scott because he took the Howard card, as we've previously discussed. Yeah. And even then, Tim Bruce is going to count. What is he going to do? Is tell Kyle Pitts to run routes better?
Hey, Kyle Pitts, just
best tight end in the country.
Just do better.
I think that this is going to be one of Florida's best opportunities to win the SEC for a while. In the sense of there is a lot of uncertainty at other positions. Mm-hmm. There's uncertainty at Georgia in regards to they're bringing in a lot of new pieces.
Yeah, is it going to work?
It could be much better than Florida because they recruited better, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
Alabama's replacing quarterbacks. LSU is going to take a step back. We don't know the severity of it. Right. Auburn's losing a lot on the defensive side. This, and Florida, in my opinion, has the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Which makes them, in today's age of college football, you need an elite college quarterback. I don't know if they have an elite college quarterback,
but we have the best returning
in the SEC that we know of.
Correct, the best returning in the best conference.
And I think in this age of I just don't know what to think of a lot of these SEC teams. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna having the best returning quarterback and Dan Mullen as your coach makes me put Florida over the edge.
Tyler, my 5th team is the Florida Gators.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I don't have to.
And you know my notes. You know what my notes say?
What?
2 words. It's time.
It's
time. No, this is the window of opportunity. Speaking
No,
as Florida fans, this season is the window of opportunity. We have never been the schedule is in our favor. The teams around us are, like you said, regressing.
Everything is lining up.
Everything
There
is
are no
lining up.
excuses.
There are no excuses. If we do anything short of Atlanta, the season is a failure.
Yeah, we got to break, and that's expectations that Florida fans have to embrace.
Well, if you want to talk about setting the Gator standard, Dan, then you got to be able to do the results on the field. You've made the change in the locker room. You've made the change in the weight room. You've made the change in the minds of your fan base. Now it's time to make the change with the results on the field. So that's it. All right, Tyler, what's your fifth team?
My fifth team is the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Okay, perfect. We talked about Alabama.
Simply because in this situation, Alabama would, in my head, I'm playing it up. I think Alabama will win the West and Florida will win the East, and Alabama would likely be the higher ranked of those two teams.
Correct.
And if Florida wins, because it's the time. It's a team of destiny.
You can't go against the notes, Tyler.
No, it says it in the notes. It says it right. What do you want us to do? Did you write it in pen?
Yes, of course I did. In black ink.
It's permanent.
Them's the rules.
Yeah. All right. What's your sixth team?
My sixth team, the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Ooh.
Penn State Nittany Lions. Listen, Sean Clifford is going into his second season as a starter. Let me read you Micah Parsons' stat line from the Cotton Bowl. You ready?
Okay.
14 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, and 2 forced fumbles. I don't know about you, Tyler, but that's a pretty nasty stat line in a bowl game.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I think that defense is actually has improved significantly in that case. I'm pretty high on Penn State too.
I
am. I think again, if it's not this year, then when? James Franklin. You know what I mean? You have Clifford going into his second year. You have tight end Pat Freiermuth. He's going to be the leading receiver in that sense. You got a bunch of running backs, and I think the biggest addition isn't even on the field; it's on the sidelines. Offensive coordinator Kirk Ciarrocca from Minnesota.
That was a great pickup.
Yeah,
it's a very James Franklin thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, the offensive coordinator that beat me. Why don't you come over and join us now?
Yeah, you can't beat him if you can't.
It's gotta piss PJ Fleck off.
It's the opposite. If you can't beat him, join him. Oh, that's the one who took me out. I'm gonna take out your strongest thing to PJ Fleck. But I do think so. They have and like we said, Micah Parsons. He's probably a first rounder next year. So keep an eye out. I like Penn State. They're my 6th best team.
All right, my 6th best team is the Georgia Bulldogs. And
talk to them.
Look, I hate Georgia as much as the next person. Okay, the next Florida fan. So let's get that out of the way. Okay. But I do think with their talent, they will be able and I'm very high on Todd Monken as a coordinator.
Yeah.
And I think Jamin Newman is a good player. I don't know that fit, new system, different receivers. They're replacing a lot of the offensive line, which is a position they do well at. But, you don't know. They have a much harder schedule than Florida.
Yeah.
I do expect them to be the type of team that if Florida goes 11-1, they're at least 11-1 or 10-2. But with that one loss to Florida in that situation, I don't think the bottom's falling out at Georgia. I think they've got enough talent that they'll be this high.
I don't think the bottom's falling out in Georgia either. I think the baseline for a Kirby Smart Georgia team is 9 wins because he recruits so well, because they find a way to win, and honestly, because we play in the SEC East and not the SEC West. I think that has a lot to do with it. My thing is that Kirby Smart is a top 5 recruiter in this country. He's a phenomenal recruiter. I don't know if he can make the in-game coaching changes. We are watching Mark Richt younger, developing. In my opinion, that's what I think. So I don't know. Listen, Todd Monken is a big question mark of how his style is going to translate to the SEC, how his style is going to translate back to the SEC, how his style is going to go up against Todd Grantham, because that's really the biggest matchup in the country. Or we're being selfish. That's the biggest matchup in the SEC if you think about it. Todd Monken against Todd Grantham.
Todd Grantham.
Like that's the battle
Todd
of the Todds.
Todd.
The Todd Bowl. That's what it is. It's the Todd Bowl. Because the winner of that game goes to Atlanta, and it basically shapes the season for both programs.
And that is the matchup to look at.
And it is.
Because the other matchup is the matchup of the head coaches, is
exactly.
Dan versus Kirby.
And in my place, give me Dan.
Yeah, I would agree.
Give me Dan. So that's my thing with Georgia, where we don't know. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of missing parts. I can't rank them as high as 6 because of that. It's not a disrespect thing in terms of I don't think they'll be good. They are, to me, we've talked about it before. We will continue to talk about it up until Halloween this year. It is the biggest game of the season for Florida, and it continues to worry me. I lose sleep at night over the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm not afraid to admit it. That game is big. All right.
You think you lose sleep over
Mr. Duval over here. All right, so I don't have Georgia at 6. We'll talk. You'll ask me a question of why when we get there.
Who's your number 17?
I'm very curious with why you put Georgia ahead of Penn State, because I really do see Penn State as a kind of team that
it's.
Oregon, I don't mind, because Oregon, I know I'm on an island out here, and that's fine. I'll die on this hill if I have to.
I think that Penn State definitely got to the pedestal a little early, but my thing with Penn State is that I feel that they're going to be very talented. I do like the offensive coordinator additions, but I almost feel like they're just a 10-2 team.
Okay.
Because they're, in my opinion, this next season they're going to lose to Ohio State. They might not. They play very well against Ohio State.
No, Tyler. They're going to lose to Ohio State.
Okay, never mind. And then I personally feel that they've got one more in them.
Okay.
And I feel like their ceiling is like I feel very confident that Penn State will be a very good 10-2 team, like they were this last season.
Do you think?
And I feel very confident. And I think that Georgia could be that 11-1 team.
Can I ask?
There's a lot of uncertainty around Georgia, which makes me side with them for some reason.
And here's the last question before we move on. If Georgia and Penn State played in the same division and had to play this year, who would you have?
I will. I'll take Penn State probably. Actually, now that you say that, because
for the record, I set that question up for you. Yeah, exactly.
What?
I set that question up for you.
Yeah, there's a certainty to Penn State.
But also, it's a thing where if they play week 3, it's different than if they play week 9.
Yes.
So
because I honestly feel, well, that's the thing is like with Georgia, there's so many different moving pieces. Mm-hmm. It could either be they start off hot and then things can't materialize later, or they have to figure it out. Like teams change throughout the season.
Right.
It's just a lot of it is that I feel that Georgia has the upside. It's a very big question mark. The upside to be that SEC championship type team.
Right.
Penn State, I feel, has a ceiling.
Okay, I can see that.
So
I get that.
What's your number 17?
My number 17 we've talked about already. It's the Oklahoma Sooners.
Cool.
It's the Oklahoma Sooners. We've talked about them already. So what's your 17?
All right, you're gonna love this.
Is it
my
FAU?
number 7? No. my I say love is a very loose term.
Okay.
You're gonna love this, but my number 7 team is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Okay.
Take it in.
I'm trying to understand and be reasonable, because I'm gonna see. I'll probably see my cousin who went to Notre Dame next week. We haven't talked in a while, and college football is the great unifier, and so I'm gonna have a Notre Dame conversation with him, and I want to know. Talk to me.
Ian Book is coming back. Ian Book is coming back.
Yes.
Tommy Rees took over as the play caller in the bowl game, and it looked very good.
It did. We were very surprised. We were watching that game, texting each other.
Brian Kelly has shown in the last couple seasons I want to say willingness / openness to be reinventing himself. He's talked openly about he's changed the way he leads. He's from his 4-8 season and how mad he used to get, and then 2 seasons later they're in the playoff. Mm-hmm. And then he's changed his ways in recruiting. He adamantly believes that there's not that cap on Notre Dame recruiting anymore, or at least they should be trying to get themselves past it.
Right.
Because there's a commonly held belief that Notre Dame kind of has a ceiling as a 10-2 type of team, or if they get to the playoff at undefeated, they don't have the talent to keep up.
Right.
Because of recruiting. And he's trying to challenge that. And I feel that Notre Dame was a very good 10-2 this season. They got their quarterback coming back. They got a good offensive play caller, in my opinion, that I'm very high on. And I also feel like they're going to lose. They're guaranteed to lose a game because they're playing Clemson.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I feel like they've got a relatively easy-ish schedule. I don't feel like there's going to be a drop-off again a lot because Ian Book is still there, and I like their offense.
Yeah,
the defense has been good for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
so.
The secondary is the big question with them, though, and that's a thing where Dabo Swinney's going to exploit it. Trevor Lawrence is going to exploit it. But what about the other teams in their schedule? What about you know what I mean? Is it as much of a worry that it's a problem for all 12 games rather than just one of the games? So I understand your process there. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 8 for you.
Number 8, it's the LSU Tigers.
Okay.
It's the LSU Tigers. I think there will be a regression, as we've said. I mean, there has to be. You can't go 15-0, have the greatest offense in history, and stay there. You're going to have to regress.
But they've also lost everybody.
Exactly, and that's my thing.
They've lost their defensive coordinator, their passing game coordinator, and Joe Brady. They've lost
quarterback.
Their quarterback, a couple of the wide receivers, their tight end, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, several of their offensive linemen, most of their defense.
Yeah. It's definitely a reset year, and honestly, LSU fans should not be mad because you went undefeated and got the chip, and you won it at home in New Orleans. Worth it. You got a Heisman Trophy. It was a legendary season. But in my opinion, there's a certain level of I have to respect Ed Orgeron now because when you look at his top 10 record, his record against top 10 teams, it's phenomenal. He's lost like 2 games. I think he is going to be able to rally that team around, and there's going to be that residue mentality from players that are there. And I think in college football, there's something to be said about that. So I'm going to keep them up there. But my notes here are just too many questions. Was it 1 year magic? We'll have to see. And with Brady and Burrow gone, what ends up happening there? You know, that's pretty much.
Here's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Quarterback ?
Yeah.
Because they haven't taken a transfer.
Right. They
didn't take De'Ara King. They didn't take KJ Costello. They didn't take.
But you know why they didn't take a quarterback transfer? Can I tell you right here?
Yes.
This is a story by Mark Menard from WWL FM 105.3 in Louisiana. The headline to this article says, Herbert, LSU quarterback Brennan already better than Burrow in one key area. Tyler, we're already there. We're already there with LSU hyping up a quarterback more than they actually should. Here is the quote.
Extremely normal sport we got going on.
Here is the quote by Bobby Herbert saying, quote, all I know is Miles Brennan can spin it. He can throw the football. Watching Miles Brennan purely throw the football. I'm not talking about playing the quarterback position. I'm talking about purely throwing the football. He can throw better than Joe Burrow, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, and Taysom Hill. And look what we think of the quarterbacks, the talent we have.
Did he really just say Taysom Hill?
He just included Taysom Hill.
No, stop.
Teddy
I don't want to hear
Bridgewater,
anymore.
Drew Brees.
Throw it all away. Throw it in a boot and kick it into the ocean like
Tyler,
the Louisiana boot that it is.
February 6th, 2020, the official start of Lion season.
Apparently.
The official start.
Apparently Lion season is 24/7 in the great state of Louisiana.
I mean, they're still hungover from partying. And they got Mardi Gras in a couple weeks.
But they're also trying to drink away the sadness of the Saints.
Hey, Storm might hear you. All right.
Storm might listen to this. Right.
So that's why I got LSU there, not as high as people would think a defending national champion that went 15-0 would be. Yeah.
Yeah, my number 8 team is Penn State.
Got it. Understandable.
So we can move on from that.
My number 9 team, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Cool.
I just couldn't bring myself to put them above LSU, even with the. No, don't you put Bulldogs on there? They don't.
I don't know why I keep doing that. I keep almost typing out the mascot of every single team that I write down.
And then he erases
I'm like,
them.
no, I don't need to do that.
No, I just think that this Georgia team really had a lot, like you said, a lot of question marks and stuff, and I have to wait to see. Tyler, what's your number 9 team?
You ready for this?
I don't know if I am.
The Iowa State Cyclones.
Whoa!
Going all in, baby.
Whoa, Tyler! Talk to him.
Iowa State is this year's Baylor. They're going to be in the Big 12 championship, and
where's my wallet?
They probably won't win.
Where's my wallet? I have to allegedly place a bet. Where's my wallet? I'm doing it now. What are the odds? Give me those odds.
Whatever. I don't even care what the odds are. Give it to me. I'll take a blind bet.
I have to pay you. Got it.
Matt Campbell's still there. Brock Purdy's still there. Their offense is fire.
Their defense is so unorthodox in a conference where defense is an afterthought.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm on board with you.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where this team just needs to learn how to close out games.
Mm-hmm.
They went 7-5 in the regular season, and easily, I mean this honestly, easily could have won every single one of those 5 losses.
Right.
They were so close. They were a 2-point conversion away from beating Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
They were a field goal away from beating Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is the year. I got to put my faith in it. I got it. It's for the brand, for my personal brand.
Listen, you have been talking up these Iowa State Cyclones for 3 years now, and I think it's time that it's paid off and they've repaid you. I think it's time. Yeah. I think it's time for you.
I'm ready for top 10 Iowa State.
Wow. Congratulations. Let me just tell you.
World.
Listen. Iowa State is in my top 25. We will get to them later, and I mean later. But my notes for that just says 2 words: Purdy time.
Absolutely.
Purdy
my
time.
name is Brock, and I like to Purdy.
My name is Brock, and I party like a Brock star. Here we go. All right. Wow. Good. Well said, Tyler. Well said. The 10th ranked team for me. It's Texas A&M.
Huh.
Tyler, this schedule, if you took my sister is turning 10 years old this summer. If you took her birthday cake, that's the schedule that Texas A&M has. They went from having one of the toughest schedules in the country to being in a playpen. It's like the kid, their schedule is the equivalent of having the kid that is 12 years old but looks 17, and the parents are like, where's his birth certificate? That's the schedule.
Really?
The Texas A&M, yeah, like the Texas A&M schedule is cake. Now, this is a big deal, right? Can they make the jump? We thought last year would be the year with Jimbo in the second year, and that clearly did not come to fruition. So can they do it this year?
They had a very tough schedule.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe is this a thing where their schedule ends up actually getting... Does the second year get pushed to the third year? Let me read you off the schedule, Tyler, because I keep talking about this.
Read it off to me.
They open the season against Abilene Christian, 1-0.
This is a dub.
Okay, North Texas at home.
Dub.
Colorado at home.
Dub.
Arkansas at Jerry World.
Dub.
That's 4-0. At Mississippi State.
I'm going to say 4-0. Oh, 5-0.
Fresno State at home.
6-0.
At Auburn, question mark.
I'm going to question mark, but for the sake of the thing, I'll just go 7-0.
Okay. South Carolina on the road.
8-0.
Who knows if Will Muschamp is the coach at that point?
Yeah.
Then they got a bye week. Then they got Ole Miss at home.
I'm going to go 9-0.
Vanderbilt at home.
Oh my God, really? Vanderbilt? Yes. 10-0.
And then they end the season at Bryant-Denny. 10-1.
10-1.
And then LSU at home.
That's a toss-up.
It's a toss-up.
Holy crap, that schedule is so easy.
You telling me a 12-1 Texas A&M team isn't top 10?
Oh my God.
At that point,
if they win all those games, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. If the season goes like that, and let's say that they beat LSU and their only loss is to Alabama, they are an Iron Bowl. They are an Auburn Iron Bowl victory from Atlanta.
I'm here for this.
I'm telling you, it adds up. It adds up.
I will say
I'm not crazy after going through the schedule, am I?
No, I really did not expect that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing the reason I can't get on board with you is I'm not a believer in Kellen Mond anymore.
Already? One down year against a tough schedule?
It's been I made this argument before. He's had one truly great game, and they lost that game.
That's true.
He has been so average everywhere else.
That's true. But
he ran for more yards than he passed for against Oklahoma State.
Tyler, he was my fantasy quarterback. I'm fully aware of his statistics. But you're going to tell me that Kellen Mond can't take this schedule?
So, I mean, I'll get to him soon. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they'll be actually a lot better than they were. I'm just not ready for this. I don't think Kellen Mond is the guy that is going to get them over the hump.
Okay.
I can get it. You'll see in a little bit. I can get on board with highly ranked Texas A&M. I don't know if I can get on board with top 10 Texas A&M.
Okay. For the record, I have them at 10th.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a bit of a
Exactly.
But
all right,
anyway,
that's my 10th. Thank you for making me feel not crazy.
Okay, my 10th team is LSU.
Okay, we talked about the question marks.
We talked about that. I'm a little lower on it just because of the quarterback thing, but you know what? We'll see.
Understandable. My 11th ranked team, Tyler, is Notre Dame.
Okay.
And I put them.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. Who do you got?
I mean,
at
I
11?
completely understand. I'm a little higher on Notre Dame than I figured you'd be, but
Well, and that's the thing
this
where
is still the range that I think they would fall into.
exactly. You have Penn State. You have Penn State at 8. I have Penn State at 6. You have Notre Dame at 9. I have them at 11. You have them at 9. Or no, you have them at 8, 7. I have them at 11. Like it's one of those things where we can flip flop in this area and whatever.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to start to get interesting.
This is where,
this
is where you get to have a little bit of fun.
This is the fun. This is where it's. This is
Are
where
you ready
I have
for
to
this
convince.
take?
This is where I have to convince you. You have to convince me.
All right, you ready for this take?
I'm ready.
My highest ranked team in the Pac-12.
Oh my god! I just noticed you don't have any. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Number 11
Can I
team
guess?
in the country.
Can I guess?
Yes.
Did you put Washington?
No.
Did you put Oregon State?
Whoa, no.
Sorry, I went out there.
Okay.
Is it Utah?
The number 11 ranked
Is
Cal
it Arizona
Golden
State?
Bears.
Oh my god, Cal.
It's Cal's year, baby.
You're going to have to convince me on this one. You're going to have to convince me.
Chase Garbers, I have made the case multiple times last year, was the most important player in the Pac-12 because he goes down with injury for several games of the year. They go from being undefeated with wins against Washington and Ole Miss, so that like for Cal that's difficult. With one of the best defense, probably the best defense out west, in relation to like with Washington, probably one of the two best defenses. Oregon also had a really good defense, but with Justin Wilcox as their head coach, they have one of the best defenses the west of the Mississippi every year. With Chase Garbers, they had an actually good offense. Then he got hurt. They sucked. He came back. They were throwing it all over the place. They finished the year 8-5, and looking a lot better team than an 8-5 team. I am ready to get on Cal as the unlikely Pac-12 champions.
You have to find the odds for me. I think this right here is just an epitome of the state of the Pac-12, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh yeah, I was just like, well, what Pac-12 team should have a shot to go to the playoff this year? And I'm like, none, because Cal's going to. They're not winning. Okay, they're not winning this at 11-1. I just want to clarify that.
Tyler, this is the first time that this is the first team that neither of us that one of us doesn't have them in their top 25. Sorry to tell you, Cal is not in my top 25.
This is where I get to be a little crazy, get to have fun.
That's fine.
You want to hear the 2020 Pac-12 Championship Football Conference odds?
Yes, give it to me.
I'm trying to pull it up to see.
I'm assuming Oregon has the best odds. Maybe followed by Washington.
This is the wrong year. They're not.
Oh.
20. Okay. Give me one second. I apologize.
All right, listen. While you are finding that, I am going to go ahead and shock you and give you my 12th ranked team in the country. Are you ready for this?
Okay, here we go.
Tyler, let's take a trip to Stillwater and be with the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Here's the reason. You ready?
I'm ready.
Chuba Hubbard is not only coming back, he has 3 returning offensive linemen, and he has a 4th offensive lineman that is a redshirt freshman whose name escapes me. I forgot to write it down, and I apologize. But, again, everything around Oklahoma State is saying, this guy is good, this guy is ready to go. It's one of those just big boys, 320, 6'8" kind of thing. He is going to go ahead, and with 4 good offensive linemen combined with Chuba Hubbard, I just don't see how this team isn't in the top 15 in that sense. Also, Spencer Sanders and Tylan Wallace are going to be pretty phenomenal on the play action, may I add.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good team there. So,
Sergio, do you want to know what my number 12 team is?
Give it to me.
It's the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, no, absolutely.
But who would have thought? Huh?
Not I.
Not I. Look at us.
All the same things. Everyone came back.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be really good this year. I just want to update with the odds to win the Pac-12 are, let's see, Oregon is obviously number 1.
Uh-huh.
And Cal is 6th at 14-1.
Cal is 6th at 14-1. Okay.
The odds
That's not
are as
bad.
follows. The odds are as follows: Oregon, Arizona State, USC,
Oh wow.
Utah, Washington, Cal.
Give me what's Washington's odds?
10-1.
That's my
These are good odds.
that's my favorite alleged bet.
That's the best bet of these, I would say.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
No, I
Wow.
don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back to the Big 12.
right.
Oklahoma State's gonna be good this year.
All right. Let's go to number 13. It's time, baby.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
My 13th ranked team. It's the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Yes, it is, baby.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce you to the law firm of Mack and Howell. Any of your cases need beat. If you need to beat a case, and by case I mean opposing defenses, they are your tandem, my friend. It's
Basketball
happening.
on grass, baby. Basketball on grass.
Let me basketball on grass. Let me tell you. Let me give you a quick stat. UNC went 7-6. They lost their 6 games by a combined 26 points. You talk about what team did you talk about losing really close games that needs to kind of put it together? What team did you talk about earlier?
Iowa State.
Iowa State. It's the same thing there. They need to just put it together and win the games at the end of the season.
North Carolina doesn't know how to play non-close games.
That's fine, but they just need to be on the winning end of those close games, which is okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Future Minnesota Viking Sam Howell is going to have his year. I think it's going to be this thing of we, the college football community, like the diehards like we are, knew about him this year. He's
going to put himself on the map.
He's going to put himself on the map amongst people who aren't crazy like us. So
okay,
I got North Carolina for that reason.
I like it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it, but I like it.
Yep. Who's your 13th team?
The Oregon Ducks.
Okay. Oh yeah, wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's just quarterback. The quarterback question is pretty big to me.
I understand it. I just drank the
and I need to see it sustained with Mario Cristobal. To see that recruiting sustained, that's SEC recruiting sustainment.
I understand it.
So,
listen, yeah. I talked myself into it, and I think I sold it pretty well to you.
You did. No, so, I'm higher on them now than I was.
So the Oregonian,
they're still not beating. They're still not winning the North. Cal's winning the North, but
debatable. All right, let's go to the 14th team. Mine's Auburn. I have Auburn ranked 14.
I have Auburn close to this.
Okay.
So.
And for me, it's the. Listen, to me, this is Auburn's ceiling under Gus.
This range.
This range is Auburn's ceiling. An 8 to 9 win team. 10 wins is like whoa. An 8 to 9 win team with an upset over either Georgia or Alabama. They're good for a win in one of those rivalries every year.
Yeah.
So, and then Bo Nix taking a step forward. I think this is going to be a thing where Bo Nix is going to take a step forward, but it's just not going to be enough. They lost a lot of talent on defense as well.
Yeah,
and
which Kevin Steele is one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, but still, you can't just replace Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's going to mean something.
So that's what I got at 14.
I like it.
Yeah.
I have at the number 14 spot the Texas Longhorns. Don't hate me.
Talk to
him. Texas I still think has a good quarterback with Sam Ellinger.
Agreed.
Mike, I really like Mike Yurcich going to Texas. I think he is former Oklahoma State offensive coordinator and then Ohio State offensive coordinator. I think he's perfect to get them to run what Tom Herman wants to run, and he has had a good offense everywhere he's been. This is really a put up or shut up year for Tom Herman though, because he had to replace all of his coordinators. They have been recruiting well enough to be good.
All that you just said makes me ask the question, and it's the reason I don't have them ranked in the top 25. Is there a problem in that program that cannot be fixed with coordinators' talent? Is there a culture situation there where Tom Herman doesn't fit with what the Texas higher-ups want? Because we know that Texas is one of those jobs that it's not young tech company people who are the boosters. It's generational wealth of oil money, of I want things run my way, of the state of Texas is run like this, of a mentality of before. And I don't know if that blends well with Tom Herman, and I think that's having a negative effect on the locker room, on the organization, and on the result on the field as a consequence.
I would agree. I think there is a something there with that.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things that I feel like that is, I'm going to be honest, I feel like that is a problem that is going to rear its ugly head very drastically in 2021
Got
when
it.
Sam Ellinger is not there anymore.
When there's not a look at the kid from Austin who grew up a Texas fan
Yeah.
playing quarterback.
Who's the uniting figure, and
Mhm.
also he's a good quarterback. Like
He is.
I
He's a
know
good quarterback. I like him.
we don't think he's as good as like the elite level,
But that doesn't mean.
but he's a good quarterback.
To me, he's the college Ryan Tannehill.
Wow, you're just going to do Justin Herbert like that? Okay, never
No,
mind.
no. There's
No. It's
Listen,
fine,
no.
fine.
Listen to me. Justin Herbert is Ryan Tannehill 2.0. There's a
Oh.
difference. He is the equivalent of Ryan Tannehill at the collegiate level. And what I mean by
Okay.
that is Ryan Tannehill is not an upper echelon quarterback in the NFL. But you put him in the right
Yeah.
situation, you give him the
So-
right offensive line, you give him Derrick Henry, he can produce and he can make the right decision. Sam Ellinger, same thing. You put him in the right situation, you put him with the right offensive line, you put him with the right running back, he can produce in this situation.
So I've been working on this. Quick side note: I've been working on this kind of theory in my head
Mhm.
that there's 3 levels of quarterback play
Okay.
in my 3 tiers. The lowest being, there's bad, which is like the 4th tier, but bad don't play, so that doesn't really count.
Right.
There's managers, just
Mhm.
kind of like general. Then there's playmakers,
Okay.
and then there's dominators.
Okay.
And the difference between dominators and playmakers is like dominators, kind of by the name, they take over a game.
Mhm.
Deshaun Watson, Tim Tebow, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, I would say Tua
Brock
Tagovailoa.
Purdy.
Brock. No, I was gonna say Brock Purdy. Don't you dare.
I'm looking out for your boy.
And Justin Fields, like the upper echelon, those are dominators. Sam Ellinger is a playmaker. He makes plays, but he cannot do it all on his own. But I think that is a problem. That culture problem is going to rear its ugly head when you lose your quarterback.
Right.
So that's my thing on Texas. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be good. They'll be good for I have them fourth in the Big 12.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at on them. But I think they'll win enough games to have a little bit of a better year.
Okay. Understandable. I respect it. What are we at? 15?
15.
All right. We can kind of move a little bit faster with these
Yeah.
simply because, we've gotten past the contenders and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
15, the Minnesota Golden Gophers for me. Minnesota Golden
Interesting.
Gophers. Tanner Morgan is going to be
Who?
coming back. Tanner Morgan. Good sir.
Okay.
What?
No.
Are you not a fan?
No, I'm just.
Come on
Is
now.
he a playmaker or a manager?
I think he's a playmaker.
Okay, cool.
But that's because he's got Rashad Bateman to throw to. He's
That's a
got
good
the
point.
wide receiver. That's the thing. He may be a manager in his skill set, but he has been surrounded by the right
Kyle Trask is a
situation.
manager in his skill set, but he's a
Exactly.
playmaker.
And I think we're at the same spot with Tanner
Yeah.
Morgan in that sense.
Yeah.
They lose a lot on
Yeah.
defense, including All-American Antoine Winfield Jr.,
Uh,
and their running backs, and Tyler Johnson, another
Yeah.
wide receiver.
and their offensive coordinator. So
Yikes. That's why I dropped them so much, because I think PJ Fleck had them I think PJ Fleck kind of capped them out at like 10-8. That's like the ceiling. And I think this is more of where
it's
they
a regression to the mean year. Like
Yeah, and I think a regression to the mean, but not like the unranked 7-win mean.
Yeah.
Like the 8 to 9 win, still in the top 25, ranked one week, maybe ranked another week. I just like this team over right now as it is, because I've seen what they can do, and I've seen PJ Fleck do it at multiple programs. Over the next teams this next wave from here on out is basically either proven group of 5 teams or Power 5 teams that I think have the potential to make the jump, and Power 5 teams that are really regressed, but that's a different thing.
Okay. Well, in my 15, I have Texas A&M.
Okay.
Which,
All right.
having heard your argument now, I feel like I might put them higher.
Yeah, and that's my
Because of the
argument. That was
schedule,
my only
but-
argument because I feel like this team could realistically be 8-9-0 and end the season 11.
Schedule could make them look better than they might actually
Exactly.
be, but you're very right. Yeah.
Texas A&M ain't play nobody.
No.
All right,
number
so
16.
16, I'd like to say welcome to the highest ranked group of 5 team on my top 25, and that is the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Wow.
16.
Oh my God, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, it's
I'm going to be
time.
honest with you, I totally forgot about Cincinnati when I was doing these.
Listen, it's time. It's time. What do you want me to do? It's either now or never. It's either now or never for this football team. Look, Luke Fickell has led them to back-to-back 11-win seasons. They were so close from beating Memphis to go to the New Year's Six. That Memphis-Cincinnati game was one of the best games of the year. We talked about it the day after. Desmond Ridder's going to continue to lead the offense, and the defense theoretically should be one of the best ones. They are losing some other offensive playmakers, but this is the group of 5, and coaching, I think, is at a premium in group of 5 in terms of importance. And Luke Fickell, this might be Luke Fickell's last year at Cincinnati because someone's going to try to poach him.
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
It's got to be his. It better be for his sake. Like,
right. If he doesn't go,
if he has to be good this year, when is his stock going to be higher?
I think the reason is that they just haven't won their conference. You know what I mean? They've been elite.
Well, that was Mike Norvell's problem. This was the first year he ever actually won the conference.
And look where he's at.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why I got Cincinnati there.
Yeah. My number 16 team is Auburn.
Okay.
We've already discussed.
We've talked about it. Yeah. All right.
What's your 17?
The Iowa State Cyclones.
Nice.
Brock Purdy
low, but I understand the respect.
Okay, looking.
No, you hating.
No,
you hating. It's fine. It's your hating.
Listen, looking back, I probably could have ranked them. I probably could have ranked them over Auburn and Minnesota, realistically, for me personally.
It's clear that you don't know how to Purdy.
I need to be taught how to Purdy like a Brock Star.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Can't be taught how to Purdy like Brock Star. You have to believe it's been in you the whole time.
Is this a Disney movie? I don't.
It's a musical, Sergio.
Is this? I know what it is. I didn't expect it.
Cue the Rock of Ages soundtrack. All right, moving on.
What's your 17th team?
My 17, Arizona State.
Okay, we are similar in this ranking because I'm going to tell you right now, they are my 18th team.
All right, well, I'll go ahead and put that down.
Go ahead and talk about them then.
But yeah, Arizona State. I think that they've got the most important part. They've got a quarterback.
Do they have a quarterback?
Do they have a quarterback? I think they've got a really good. They've got the pro version of Nick Saban's coaching rehabilitation center. I'm really buying into them. They play with just confidence, and they've been back-to-back 7-5, so that's not like the best in the world. But I'm ready. I'm ready. Jaden Daniels played so good for a freshman.
For the record, 7-6, 8-5. Because of the bowl games.
Yeah,
but
I'm ready.
I am all in on Arizona State.
They're gonna be good.
I'm so excited. I'm talking 9.
You know, I just realized that they're my highest ranked South team, so I guess they're winning the Pac-12 South.
Me too.
Let's go, baby.
Hey, let's go. So I got Arizona State for all those reasons. Jaden Daniels is gonna another player that's gonna put himself on the map.
Okay.
He's gonna put himself on the map, like on the complete map.
The internet, the national map.
People know it exactly. Yeah. So.
My 18th team is the USC Trojans.
Oh, okay.
There's just too much talent. Graham Harrell's coming back.
With an 80th ranked recruiting class?
Well, that's not going to matter this year.
That's true. That's very true.
They won't win enough to keep Clay Helton, I imagine, because their recruiting class sucks.
If Clay Helton keeps his job this year,
he's got to win the Pac-12.
He has to make the playoff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's not happening.
No, it's not. And honestly, what I think happened? Urban's just like, no, it's too soon. Urban Meyer's just like, if you come back next year, I'll be ready to do it.
Yeah, maybe. And they were like, forget it, run it back. We don't want to buy someone out and whatever.
Yeah, but that's my 18th team.
Yeah. Okay. My 19th team, staying in the Pac-12 South, is Utah. Listen, they've lost a lot of players. They've lost a lot of players. They're gonna get Jake Bentley at quarterback, but a lot
Oh my
of
God, I forgot about that.
yeah, I know. A lot of defensive players have gone as well, but Kyle Whittingham has won at least 9 games in 5 of his last 6 seasons. There's something to say about that.
That'll be fine.
There's something to say about that. They'll be fine. I think they'll be
I
fine.
can't believe that's
I
not.
think Arizona State is going to be the team to win the South, but they will be fine.
Arizona State has the highest upside, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I
And-
guess USC does because of the talent, but
No.
I think Arizona State realistically has the highest upside.
Yeah. So that's my 19th team.
Okay. My 19th team is the Michigan Wolverines.
Ooh.
Jim Harbaugh has never won less than 8 games
Okay.
in a season at Michigan. I don't really expect that to change now with an actually good offensive system in place.
Mm-hmm.
They have to replace quarterback, and there's a ceiling on how good they can be in that division.
Yeah.
So this is where I put them. I don't think they'll be as good as they were last year, which was a 9-4 season. So I think they'll be more of an 8-4 team.
Does Harbaugh leave?
Well, we got to think about what NFL jobs will be opening.
The Jags.
Jags will probably. I don't know.
I'm just saying what will be
hire
open.
Eric Bieniemy.
The Jags.
Who sucks?
Uh,
This is hard for me in the
there's
NFL.
gonna be-
every
anyway.
team could jump up and be good.
yeah, it's true. Well, we can figure that out later.
Okay.
All right. The 20th ranked team for me, the Memphis Tigers.
Really?
Brady White is coming back for his final year of eligibility, and
God.
Ryan Silverfield, I think, is keeping. We talked about it when they made the internal hire. We loved it. We thought it was good.
I do think it was good.
They're going to be competitive. They'll be in that echelon, and it's not like listen, the whole system is.
They'll
left
still
and
be
gone.
good. I think
The whole system is left and gone to Tallahassee, but that doesn't mean that the roots and the players that know how to run it and stuff have left. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The culture's still in place.
The culture's still there. Yeah, they did the right thing by hiring from within.
Yeah. My 20th team is the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I'm glad to see them in the top 25.
Yeah. No, they're definitely making the top 25.
Good. All right, 21, Boise State.
My 21 is Boise State as well.
It's just obligatory.
Absolutely.
It's obligatory.
Can't not have them.
Cannot have them. No matter who plays at quarterback, since apparently all
Could be
three of them-
anybody. We don't know.
They could be all 3. So we'll see. Number 22, the UCF Golden Knights. For me, Dylan Gabriel is going to make his step forward and be the quarterback that he needs to be in a conference like the American.
Imagine
think
believing
they can
Josh Heupel.
I didn't say Josh
could never
Heupel.
be me.
I said Dylan Gabriel.
Okay,
Could
good
never
point.
be me.
All right. My
So that's what I got.
22nd team is the Louisville Cardinals.
That is my 23rd team, my friend.
Yeah. I think what Scott Satterfield did there
He's
was
building.
masterful.
He's building.
He's building. They're recruiting.
He is one. He's one Lamar Jackson type player away from busting open the ACC.
Yeah. No, they're going to be a problem.
They're gonna be a problem in 2 years. I'm very excited.
My 23rd team is the Washington Huskies.
Okay.
I want to put them higher, but Jacob Eason not coming back. Them hiring a Jacksonville Jaguars offensive analyst for
Tyler's like, nope, I'm out.
the offensive coordinator position. I believe in Jimmy Lake long term, but placing a quarterback with a new offense that you had the opportunity to really go for like some cool hire,
Right.
and you didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. They're going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They've been recruiting well. The culture and the system are all still there. The defense will still keep them in games.
Right.
And if their offense is simply just average, they'll win games. But I'm just not high on them breaking open the season. I want to see what quarterback they put in. I want to see what the offense was
I
like.
was gonna say, do you have any idea who could be the quarterback? Because I don't know.
I legitimately don't know.
I haven't looked at it. I haven't checked it. It is only February.
I was so attached to the idea of it being Jacob Eason.
I know. I'm very sad about that.
And it's not, and I was just like, I didn't even look at the other depth chart, and I'm just like, I want to be surprised when I watch them next season.
All right, my 24th team, it's Navy.
Ooh.
Listen. Malcolm Perry was quite literally one of the greatest college football players of all time. But in a system that runs a triple option, in a, pardon the pun, militaristic type system like that, they're going to be tough against teams, and they're going to win games that they probably shouldn't win because they don't have as much talent. But the triple option suffocates teams. And they had a phenomenal season. They won 11 games last year. I think they can at least maintain a 9-win kind of quota there. And they're going to beat Army, so there's that.
Okay. I have for 24, I have Cincinnati.
Okay, understandable. Understandable on that thing.
A little bit. I'm feeling lately that I should bump them up, but we don't know how the season's going to play out.
Right.
They're the highest ranked American team for me, so they'll probably win the American. But
my final 25th team is the Florida Atlantic University Owls.
Oh my God!
Listen to me.
With Willie Taggart.
Listen to me. Chris Robinson is going to have his breakout season nationally. It's going to be like, yo, who's this guy in Boca tearing it up? And oh wait, he has 4,800 yards. What is going on? It's going to be a crazy season for him. And I'm telling you right now, Willie Taggart is an elite group of 5 coach. We have just been too gone from his Oregon and Florida
Remember
State
what we said earlier in the episode, ladies and gentlemen? February 6th, 2020, official start of Lions season.
I got hope.
Okay.
I got hope. What's your final team, Tyler?
You ready for this?
No.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Okay, so I made a list of 3 teams that I wish I would have put in. And in that order, it was Kentucky 1, Washington 2, Michigan 3. Those are the 3 teams that weren't in my top 25 that I wish were in. And I thought about Kentucky. I did.
Mark Stoops is a good coach. They've got Terry Wilson coming back off injury. And if he's bad, they still have Joey Gatewood.
Is he going to be eligible?
I have no clue.
Okay.
But
because that was a reason why I didn't put them 25, because I didn't know if Joey Gatewood would be eligible.
I trust Mark Stoops.
I do as well. Future Miami head coach Mark Stoops?
Future Miami head coach Mark Stoops.
I'm calling it now.
Which, I don't know now because Ed Reed is chief of player personnel, which means basically nothing.
Stop it. February 6th, 2020, the official start of Lions.
Don't take this as me being high on Miami.
No, I know you're not. You're just high on the idea that because Ed Reed is the chief of staff. What is a chief of staff in college?
He doesn't do anything in college.
It's not a position. It's not.
He's literally just like, all right, so you're cashing my check. Like,
you know what that is?
Lip service?
Official bag dropper.
Nice.
That's what that is. It's a way to say official bag dropper.
It literally is just. I find it no coincidence that Ed Reed is now an official staff at Miami, and a 4-star safety decides to go to Miami over Florida.
Oh.
No, that's all Ed Reed is. It's like, hey, all your defensive backs, please come here.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Why are we talking about Miami? We shouldn't be doing that.
We shouldn't be doing this. Tyler, do you have a couple teams that you wish you would have?
I mean, I've considered. I didn't put Minnesota in because I do think there's going to be a regression to the mean. Mm-hmm. App State could easily find their way in here. Mm-hmm. UCF. FSU actually could be good this season. They play in the ACC. They've got Chubba Purdy. They've got Brock Purdy's little brother.
They need their offensive line to be competent.
Yeah, and Ryan Silverfield didn't go with Mike Norvell to Florida State, so we don't know if that's going to happen.
Exactly.
That it's possible. Among that, also, Iowa is always ranked. But I didn't rank them because they have to break in a new quarterback, which typically... So that quarterback's going to be there for another 3 years, whoever he is.
So that means in 2 or 3 years, they'll be back to their ranked self.
Yeah, but like the first year, they'll probably be like 7-5, not really worthy of being ranked. Mm-hmm. But yeah. This was fun.
This was fun. I really enjoyed this episode.
So Who do you think wins the national championship? How do your playoff games... How do your playoff games of Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Oregon 4 play out?
Well, first of all, Florida's making the playoff.
Oh, okay. So my playoff games.
Okay, no. Let's go with those top 4 relatively. All right, Clemson, Oregon. Clemson's winning. Ohio State, Bama. I'd have to see how the Alabama quarterback play.
That's the big factor.
Because if
Ohio State's got the difference maker.
Because if Mac Jones or if Bryce Young or if the younger Tagovailoa end up breaking out and having a breakout year, then I can easily convince myself. Where are the playoff games? That's a whole nother.
It is
Playoff.
Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl year.
Rose and Sugar.
Yeah.
So then that means that Clemson, Oregon, Clemson's going to go to the Sugar. So that means it's Ohio State, Bama in the Rose Bowl, which is not a traditional Rose Bowl.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah, I think at that point I would go Ohio State, and then I would have. I think if it's Ohio State, Clemson, the Natties in Miami. I'm gonna go Clemson.
Yeah, so for me, it's Clemson, Florida in the Sugar Bowl, and
Uh-huh.
Ohio State, Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl.
Clemson, Florida, Sugar.
Yeah.
We
So
travel.
Clemson-
We travel well to New Orleans.
No, we do. I think that'll be a good game.
I'd go to
but,
that.
I would definitely go to that. Clemson will win that,
Yeah.
and Ohio State, Oklahoma. I think that Ohio State will win that,
And then who do you
and
have?
then and then I think Clemson will win the national
I
championship.
think so too. This is based on these rankings
These rankings
because obviously we know
probably
that
going to be completely different. Actually, no. You know what? Screw that. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's going to be everything. Somehow, both of our top 25 is going to be right.
yes, and
I don't know how, but it's going to
and
happen.
somehow Florida's going to win the Natty. You heard it here first.
Absolutely.
100%. All right, Tyler. Listen, if anyone really enjoyed these rankings, and they just wanted to kind of just send some support and kind of drop a bag of any kind, where would they be able to drop that bag?
The best and easiest place to drop a bag would be at the email address of sidelinejudgment@gmail.com.
Oh, 100%.
That's SIDELINEJUDGEMENT @swirly_gmail.com.
That's it.
Don't make me spell gmail.com, listeners. You're not dumb.
That is the bag dropping location that you have been asking for. Thank you very much. Tyler, let's end this episode off with a flagship segment of ours, tweets we've shared. Tyler, share with me your favorite tweet that I have shared with you.
Okay, so let's see. The best one that you think that is not college football related, but it is a tweet by Kevin from Duval. And it is a picture from DJ Chark, Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver, from his Instagram. A picture of him and Gardner Minshew, who's wearing a cowboy hat. Amazing. I want to see Gardner Minshew in a cowboy hat and a guayabera.
Just like blending the cultures together.
Yes,
That is so Florida. That's so North and South Florida.
that's amazing.
It's very. I would like to see. That.
It's DJ Chark and Gardner Minshew like in a club in I think in Miami for Super Bowl weekend, and DJ Chark captioned it, "Hell of a year, brother." And Gardner Minshew responded with the musical notations, "Let me tell you about my best friend."
Love it.
And
Love it.
The tweet says, "Imagine thinking Nick Foles should ever take another snap as a Jaguar. Couldn't be me."
Could not be Tyler K. Williams. I'll tell you that much.
No, I mean, if he wants to do some mop-up duty, I'll allow it. But no, I mean, this is just a funny tweet. I mean, I love Gardner Minshew as both of us do on this podcast.
100%.
This is a Gardner Minshew stand podcast.
This is a Gardner Minshew stand
This
podcast.
is the Jaguars' year before Miami Dolphins take
It
over
is.
the entire AFC.
It is because in 2 years it's over for you bitches. I'm letting you know right now. Like have your fun in 2020, enjoy it while Tua gets his hip and ankles ready, and in 2021, ya tu sabes, all right?
Now,
Here we
Gardner
go.
Minshew's got to raise up that Lombardi Trophy this year, or else it's not happening
It's
anytime
a
soon.
tight window, my friend.
Yeah.
It's going to be real great to win 10 Super Bowls in a row. I'm going to have a great time. Have 2 more undefeated seasons, so the top 3 seasons in all-time are Dolphins. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
My tweet you shared with me comes from a dear friend of ours, College Football Reddit. And the tweet is, this season, we've seen football championships from teams in the Baton Rouge and Kansas City areas. What's the common thread? Hashtag less is more, and it's a picture of Les Miles cheering on Kansas at a basketball game. My friends, this is my way of including Kansas in our top 25 because I could not include Kansas
so much.
but I want to let you know Kansas is for real. They are making a bowl game this season.
Do you know? I saw a chart earlier today where it's showing every state in college football recruiting their best recruiter that's from out of state.
Okay.
So for the state of Florida, the best out of state recruiting team is Clemson. Clemson gets the most talent out
From
of
Florida. Got it.
That's not from a school that's not in that state that gets the most out of it.
Got it.
Do you know what the best school at getting talent out of Louisiana that's not in Louisiana?
It's Kansas, isn't it?
It's Kansas.
I love it. I'm so happy. I am
so
thrilled that is the truth. I'm telling you, don't sleep on my Kansas Jayhawks. You're more than welcome to join the bandwagon, Tyler.
No, I'll watch from the side.
I was gonna say you're
alongside.
You're tracking the bandwagon's movements on Google Maps. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm keeping a tab open.
Listen, I'm calling you from the fourth cart and going day 43. Today we had that's me. All right, I'm all in. Yeah. All right, Tyler. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, listeners. We don't know when we're gonna be back on the air. I promise you it'll be soon. We have to figure out exactly what it is that we want to do during the off season. We are not going anywhere, I promise.
Oh, absolutely not. We just don't know exactly what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing, and we may take a week or two off. We will for sure be back soon, and there will be some college football content for you, but we will be focusing on the NFL draft as it is coming up. Do not worry. We are focusing on the draft. The Dolphins have a plethora of picks. The Jags somehow, some way are going to get lucky with best player available again.
We always do, and then we ruin it later. But that's not important.
We're going to have all the content for you. Don't you worry. We may even have some special guests, some friends of the pod that we wouldn't want to come back. It's going to be a time.
A certain someone that is a friend of the pod has been asking about coming back, so we may bring her on.
Yes, we may be bringing her on. Special guest. Keeping it under wraps for now until all the ink is dried on the contracts. We'll have to figure that out. But until then, Tyler, this has been yet another wonderful episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And we are not biased, but go Gators.
Go Gators. And go Cyclones.
And come to Miami, Tua.